Today, I'm going to talk about something that we all have inside of us that keeps us down and holds us back in life. First, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm Long Island's eating disorder specialist, and I post on this channel twice a week all about eating disorders, body image issues, and general mental health. So if any of that interests you or you think that it could be helpful, please click the subscribe button down below. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my email list. I will leave a link in the description below because for many of my videos, I will have created resources that'll go in conjunction to help you get the most out of my videos, and I will send those in a newsletter at the beginning of the week. And of course, if there's something that you're seeing this at a later date but you would like that resource, make sure you subscribe. You will get a welcome email, and then from that welcome email you can reply to it. It'll come to me. Let me know what resource you're looking for, what video you're watching and hoping to get the resource for, and of course I will send it over to you. And of course, if you would like a daily dose of inspiration, be sure to follow me on Instagram or my weekly blog. I will leave those links in the description as well. And if you like this video at the end, I would greatly appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Today, we're going to be talking about an inner critic that we all have. Especially when it comes to eating disorders, you hear me talk about it a lot. I always talk about an eating disorder as though it is a separate entity from yourself. So you have your eating disorder self, or you may make it more global and call it your unhealthy self. So it's not necessarily just purely eating disorders, but it's a part of you that wants to keep you down. It's a part of you that wants to keep you sick. It's a part of you that holds you back from doing the things that can help you to grow or move forward in life. That is your inner critic. We all have it. I don't care if you're struggling with an eating disorder, struggling with any other mental health issue, or you really don't think that you're struggling with any type of mental health diagnosis. We all have that little devil in our head saying, don't do this, and trying to hold you back and keep you down. So this video is for anyone and everyone. And what I want to talk about is that inner critic. It's so important to know that we have it, for one, and for two is to recognize it. So of course, the beginning of anything is awareness. We need to become more aware that this is an issue for us and what our inner critic is, what our inner critic looks like, and how our inner critic appears to us. It's really important to figure all of this out, and I do have a worksheet that is available in conjunction with this video to really help you do a little bit more deeper work into trying to figure out all about your inner critic and how it operates and how it's impacting you. Because again, where there is awareness and where there is knowledge, there is power to do something about it, and that is including working on eliminating this inner critic, or at least lessening it, so that you can really have the healthiest version of you coming out more often than not. Your inner critic, or your inner mean girl, or your inner just devil that tells you all of these things, it's again designed to keep you down. But the things that we need to become more aware of, what we're saying, is the things that are nasty, the things that are intended to make us feel poorly about ourselves. We have to understand that our inner critic, or our inner mean girl, is that kind of shadow self. It's the thing that lurks in the background. It lurks and you don't really see it. So that's why it's so important to really become more aware of it, because it'll be very sneaky, and that's its intention, is to be very sneaky so that you really don't know it's coming, and therefore your guards are down and you're not as willing or as able to really fight back on it. So we need to understand that first and foremost, that it lurks in the shadows, and we need to become more aware of when it comes out. And the way to do that is to recognize what it sounds like. When you hear things in your head such as you look fat, or you're ugly, no one can love you, don't even bother trying to go after that promotion, someone's better than you, don't even bother trying to get into that school because you'll never get in, you're just not smart enough, you can't even expect to get over this particular score on your SAT, you're not going to do well. And it's constantly something that's saying that you can't do what it is that you want to do, or that there's a part of you that wants to do, which is that healthy self, the healthy part of you. So your inner critic is what's telling you you can't do something. It's a part of you that's just mean to you, mean to yourself. and it's important to recognize exactly how it sounds like for you. So part of this work is to really be honest with yourself, sit down and figure out what words and what phrases and what sentences this inner critic says to you, so that when it sneaks up on you, you're more able to recognize, hey, that's my inner critic and this is not okay, and it's something that I'm going to fight against. The next part of this work is to really identify how your inner critic makes you feel. And that is another way to figure out exactly when the inner critic pops up. Because yes, right now we can try to theorize and try to identify what thoughts and statements are said by the inner critic and really recognize it that way. But another big indicator is how it makes us feel. So when we start to have our inner dialogue and we feel crappy afterwards, that's a big hint that the inner critic was present in that dialogue. And again, that's when I want you to reverse the work and say, okay, this is how I feel. I know that my inner critic tends to make me feel this way. What did I say in that dialogue that was my inner critic? What happened? And again, write those statements down so that you know in the future that these statements and these messages are messages and statements from your inner critic. A couple weeks ago, I posted on my channel about the eating disorder's motivation. And we also need to recognize that when it comes to the inner critic, and that might be your eating disorder, that might be just an unhealthy version of you, it could be whatever. But we also need to recognize the unhealthy self's motivation, the inner critic's motivation. And it's very similar to the eating disorders, if not the same. It's to hold you back, to keep you down, to keep you safe, quote unquote, keep you stuck. What it means by keeping you safe is it's lying to you. It's misleading you into saying you can't do something, so stay in your comfort zone. It's lying to you and manipulating you into believing that something is not possible, therefore you don't try to get it, it keeps you stuck. Or that someone won't like you, therefore you're not going to reach out to them and not have that friendship develop or that relationship develop, and it keeps you isolated. Recognizing that your inner critic is not for your best and greatest good is super important. Recognize that it's meant to tear you down, it's meant to keep you down, and when you recognize that, again, it makes it a little easier for you to identify when it is coming up and also to respond to it. The last part of this that I want to address in this video is, now that you recognize that the inner critic exists and you recognize the form that it takes when it is talking to you, it's super important to take your journal out and write about how this can help you. How does knowing this help you? And how does knowing this help you to move forward in your life? How does it help for you to engage more of your healthy self? How does it help in whatever your goals are in life, whether that's recovery or whether that's, I don't know, promotion, whatever your goals are? How does knowing that this inner critic exists help you? A bonus tip is to name your inner critic. If you were to come up with a name for this little devil in your head, what would it be? Leave them in the comments down below. It's really awesome when you are able to identify a separate entity within you and name it, because again, it gives it a little bit more of a tangible feel. And when you have something that's a little bit more tangible, it's a little easier to fight. So name it, leave the names in the comments down below. I really can't wait to hear them. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. You can click my face over here to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you strength and power to fight back your inner critic today on your journey to finding your state of balance, and I will see you in my next video.